Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are, it's very official, these readings are for everybody. These are the general energies, trends and themes that we are likely to be experiencing over the course of the week ahead. And all of this is always informed by my intuitive message. So before I start the reading, I go into my intuition and I will ask what we need to see. Sometimes it's words, sometimes it will be a feeling, sometimes it will literally be like a movie that plays out in my head. But these are just kind of a general overview. This is, you know, kind of, sometimes it will be world events that come up, sometimes it will literally just be how this speaks to us on a more sort of philosophical level. Take them as you will. With that said, before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. Please don't forget that on June the 7th at 2:10 p.m. UK time, Mindset Magic will go live. I will be going live on YouTube to tell you all about it and to answer any questions that you might have as well. I really look forward to seeing you guys there. It's going to be awesome. So thank you so much for those of you that will sign up, and thank you so much for those of you that are going to be a part of what promising to be a pretty cool project. With that said, your weekly intuitive message was, it's twofold this week. So the first part was love your inner critic. Okay, I know a lot of you are thinking, hang on, like needle scratch, what? The reason this comes up is what I saw here was the two aspects of a person or self working in harmony. And so when we love our inner critic, we can more easily silence that part of us, or we can override it. Not only that, there are times where your critical self actually saves you from getting into, you know, it's kind of like your mind will magnify a threat, as they say, in order to keep you safe, which, you know, thank you, wonderful, you know, that's what I always call the little beastie. Thank you. I know you're just trying to protect me. I know you're trying to look after me, but you're really not helping right now. So I've got it from here, you know, love you. Thank you very much. Can you, can you get it in line and get yourself together? All right. And then the other part of this was give rise to the you that you pick last. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example or a scenario. You know, when you're a kid and, you know, people separate into teams and you get to pick who you want on your team. Nobody wants to be that kid that is picked last, right? And that kid that gets picked last for everything is usually the one that holds the most sort of about being rejected and stuff as we grow. What I'm talking to here is the part of you, the aspect of you, or the part of your essence that you call on last, the aspect of you, the part of you that you try not to give rise to, that you try to, like, this part of you, this is the time to give that a voice. Whether this is a secret desire, whether it is something that you want, whether it is someone that you want. This is, you know, especially those parts of yourself that are unloved or unresolved. This is a week for you to integrate them. So love your inner critic for the work that it does, trying to keep you safe, even if it's not necessarily always helpful. And as for the part of you that you personally pick last, oh, well, you know, I don't like that bit about me, or I don't want anybody to know that about me, whether it's a vulnerability, whether it's a trait, whether it's a characteristic, whether it's an understanding, a thought, a reasoning, a philosophy, you know, whatever it might be, that part of you that you consistently shove down, that you consistently tell yourself, no, you don't get to speak. Give rise to it this week. Allow it to speak. Allow it to be honest and speak, speak out into the world everything that it might want to share, because you never know what or who you're going to connect to through that energy. With that, your, or should I say our destiny card for the week ahead is the Empress. So last week it was about kind of, I mean, we talked about parenting ourselves. And this week, I feel like this is about refining ourselves, beautifying and enhancing ourselves. And you know what? People that have truly integrated their shadow self, people that have truly integrated the parts of them that they may not necessarily want on display all the time, really are the most beautiful human beings that you can come across. You know, we talk about, if you've seen the kintsugi, it's like, so when something is broken and then they fill in the cracks with gold. It's really striking, it's really beautiful. And so this week it really is about owning the parts of yourself that you don't usually give rise to. Your desires, the things that you want, the things that call to you, the things that feel juicy and abundant within your soul. The destiny energy this week of the Empress is really asking you to tap into the part of yourself that wants to grow, that is ready to plant itself in the most fertile soil of life and create something new and beautiful, and potentially something that isn't necessarily, you know, doesn't necessarily fit in with the norm, whatever that might be. For your direction cards, how do we access that? What might we be doing with it? And this week we have the Seven of Swords. Okay, so where it is that you're telling yourself porcupines, that's something that needs to go. That's something, you know, illusory tendencies this week are needing to be put in check or to go away. And you know, this is that part of you that you squash down, that, you know, character trait that you don't want anybody to know about or whatever. That part of you, that's you lying. You know, when you try to squash that down, or, you know, I never lose my temper, I never do, that's a lie. It's a lie. You're a human being. You're here to have a range of human experiences and emotions. And unfortunately, sometimes that comes with the ones that aren't necessarily so pretty. But if you can integrate them this week, massive amounts of progress can be made. Then we've got the Seven of Pentacles. So we've got two sevens here. Two sevens represents news. So we are going to see a development on the wider world stage in the news this week. And it's really interesting that this comes up. The Empress is Venus. And one card or one energy that came up consistently over the course of the week for this week in the money and materials was Libran energy. And Venus is the ruler of Libra. So I think we're going to see something on the wider world stage about money, resources, and potentially the healthcare industry yet again. And then we have the Knight of Swords. So look at that. Knight of Swords with the Seven of Pentacles, that's driving with the brakes on. And the only way to really take the handbrake off this week is to integrate the parts of yourself that you don't give rise to. Pick yourself first. Stop compartmentalizing yourself into, oh, I've got to be this and I got Just be you and let everyone either be all in with that or not be all in with it. It's really not your issue. And then finally, for our insight cards, what's coming in that we may need to be aware of, that we might need to know. This week we have the Star card, beautiful, which is also, and then we've got the Hierophant card, and then we have the Seven of Swords. So we're definitely, like this week, there is going to be a revelation of some sort. And this, I believe, has something to do with the financial institutions of the world. I do believe we are going to see some sort of leak of documentation. We've got the Star card, that's the cyber or the digital world. We've got the Seven of Swords, that's, you know, the lies or the thing that has been covered up. And then we've got the Hierophant card, which represents the bigger institutions of the world, banks, dynasties, etc. So I would not be surprised if we see some big secret or some new, you know, piece of gossip. That's the Empress card there as well. We're likely to see something hit the wider world stage this week that definitely raises more than a few eyebrows. So I'm intrigued by this. Now, on a more personal sort of microcosmic level, this is about what your future looks like when you are truly integrated as a part of yourself, with all of the parts of yourself. On another level as well, on a more sort of practical level, this would be a really good week to look after all of your, you know, back up your hard drives, you know, your password, all of that kind of stuff. Do all the things around your material stuff. And also I would, yeah, because it's all under the guise of the Empress. This week I would refrain from gossip unless you know it to be true, unless you know it to be true by fact. I would refrain from, you know, that getting into the hearsay or getting, you know, sort of swept up in the he said, she said, it might be, it may not be. Like, don't let yourself get swept up into the melee there. You've got way too much to be doing on a personal level this week anyway. With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.